Celebrating low cost per lead is like throwing a party for VIPs and rejoicing when the room gets full of homeless people. Yes, you've made a headcount, but what was the point? Now, if you're a Medspa owner, nurse practitioner, soul esthetician, or injector, and you are running ads on Meta, or you've considered running ads on Meta, Facebook, Instagram, or even ran ads and it wasn't that successful as you wished it would be, I am making this video because I want you to understand the reason why focusing on just cost per lead is probably detrimental for your return on investment, what are the numbers you should be focusing at, and the real cost of running the wrong ads, optimizing for the wrong events. Finally, why really you should know and care about this. And so with that being said, the number one thing that I want to dive into, as I'll be sharing my screen and dissecting this thing piece by piece, is the fact that the low cost per lead would potentially just create problems down the line in your front desk, meaning they get crowded with an avalanche of bad leads that don't pick up the phone and ghost, or your agency, if you're working with an agency, you know, their call center has limited resources as well. You do not want them to waste their time following up with ghost leads, chasing leads that never had the intent to book. Okay, so why should you care about this? Well, ultimately, you're a business owner. You care about your business more than anyone ever will. And so if you want to get your hands dirty and roll up your sleeves and really figure out how to optimize your ads, how to maximize return on ad spend, you should be able to look at these things critically and understand what you're actually looking at. I know for a fact when we run our ads, I want to be in complete control. Not necessarily that I want to execute, but I want to be able to orchestrate and I want to be able to manage. And so I think as a business owner, it is your best service to yourself, your best favor that you can do to yourself and to your business and to your family to understand your numbers and to control them. Ultimately, that will also allow you to separate emotions and just look at this as numbers on the spreadsheet, which they are. If you're getting no leads and then suddenly getting a few leads and those leads convert because you know your numbers, that's going to give you the confidence and the reassurance that you can continue to sustain this in a way that's making business sense. Otherwise, you will panic, you will be relieved by a bunch of cheap leads, and you might start steering the ship in the wrong direction. And so finally, the real cost that you're paying here is not what the ads are costing you. It's not the budget that you've wasted on ads for, let's say, 30 days, $50 a day, $1,500 in ad spend. That is not a cost that you paid, to be clear. The price to pay is the opportunity cost. It's what that ad spend should have generated asymmetrically in return, meaning in packages upsold. So for example, campaigns that we start for our Medspa partners, we just started 2 weeks ago, spent about $1,000 in the first 30 days, generated about 7-8 patients, and of those 5 upsold. So that would add anywhere between 8 and 12K in new revenue. That is the real cost of running the wrong ads. It's not the ad spend. And so with that being said, let's dissect the numbers. Let's look at what are the numbers you should be focusing on instead and make sense of it once and for all. And ultimately, as a little bonus, I'm going to break down why you might even want to consider additional platforms such as Google, where the CPL is actually way higher, the cost to generate a lead, but why that's actually good news for your business. Okay, so let's dive right in. Chasing low CPL is often the death spar for med spas, and here's the numbers to break that down. A $30 lead who books at 20% at $2,000 average package is worth $400 in revenue per lead. And an $80 lead, more than 2 times more, books at 60%, which is 3 times more, buys at $3,500, worth $2,100. Why? Because the higher cost per lead is typically a higher quality and the conversion is 3x higher as well. And also the total amount that they're paying is also higher. So it actually makes way more sense. Then the real metrics should be focusing on the cost per booked appointment, the cost per show, the cost per package sale, and ultimately the return on ad spend. And you can even focus on your CAC to LTV. So your lifetime value on that customer, on upsells, cross-sells, return visits over the whole duration that they are with you for a year, 2 years, 5 years, if you're good at keeping clients loyal, and against the cost of acquisition. If you're optimizing for only low CPL, to be clear, it doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get just tire kickers and price shoppers. In fact, we have plenty of campaigns where we run $99, $149 introductory offers, and they're absolutely crushing. They're getting a ton of qualified patients. They're generating the return that they should, but you should be able to check those numbers. And you should be able to look at those back to the ads that are generating those leads and figure out which ad is attracting the right crowd. Otherwise, you'll just end up with a bunch of tire kickers, price shoppers, no shows, and Groupon behavior. Alrighty. And so what does CPL, higher CPL actually means better quality leads? Well, it's because you're targeting more qualified audiences. Your ad creative pre-qualifies. It mentions the investment, the packages. That's how you increase the cost per lead, by the way. You're alluding to the fact that there is a level of investment required. You're attracting people who actually read the ad versus the ones just clicked 149. The easiest way to do that, by the way, we have an entire video on this, but it is to basically run videos as opposed to static images that are slapping the price right across your face. Alrighty, so the volume versus quality balance. You do need volume when you're testing, but there's a sweet spot. You can either go down the low CPL with high volume strategy, or conversely high CPL with qualified volume strategy. This is good for brand new med spas, new locations, building initial patient base. It's good especially when you're wanting to get a lot of people in through the doors quickly so you can practice your selling abilities and your team's sales abilities. You're training your pixel potentially on bad leads, so that's definitely something to bear in mind. Not a huge concern because you can always reset the pixel, which, by the way, it's a line of code in the Facebook algorithm that optimizes your ads for the objective that you want to produce with the campaign. What you do need is bulletproof sales process, aggressive pre-qualification, and strong follow-up. So where your marketing is weak, your sales have to compensate. They have to be very strong. Whereas on the other side, with high cost per lead, you are able to position yourself as premium. You are able to maximize profit, albeit at a slower growth rate. You can 100% accelerate that by just spending more on ads. What you need is strong brand presence, excellent consultation process, and nurture sequences. So you need a strong brand presence and you need the ability to produce good videos. That's what's going to make that cost per lead high, but it's also what's going to attract people who understand your services, what you are about, and they're going to resonate with it. So by the time they come in to the Medspa, they are already pre-sold. They're already sort of convinced. They're half persuaded already. Okay, so most med spas should be gradually shifting from the first to the second as they mature. As the bonus, like I said, I wanted to discuss why Google versus Facebook and why you might want to consider one versus the other. To be clear, the difference between one and the other is Facebook is pattern interrupt. So on Facebook, you're sitting at home, you're having a sandwich on the sofa, you're scrolling and you're seeing an ad. You did not intend to look for laser hair removal services, did you? You also didn't intend to look for body contouring services. So it just came onto your feed and you're considering it. And so with that, you just have to realize that there's going to be lower intent. Someone might opt in, they might fill out a form, but they weren't actively looking. They weren't in the stage. It's kind of like if you walk down the road and you're receiving a leaflet, a flyer for a pizza shop, but you're not hungry, you just ate, potentially, okay? Whereas if you're on Google and you're searching for plumbers near me with a toilet that's jammed and spilling over, then the pain point is critical. Those ones will 100% convert right there and then. They just need to see a good offer. They just need to see some good reviews and they will book, which is why with Google Ads, the cost per lead will be higher because there's fewer people on Google searching actively. The way it works is on Facebook, people scrolling, there's virtually an infinity of numbers of prospects versus on Google at any given point, the pool of audience is very restricted. There's only so many toilets that can spill over at the same time, right? There's only so many women that are looking for their Botox retouch or their next do-over at any given point. All of the others, they're earlier in their journey. They're going about their day, they're not considering it, but with the right offer, with the right nudge, they basically become aware of your med spa, of your services, and that's how you take them from Facebook, from Instagram to your med spa. So that is the fundamental philosophical difference between Facebook and Google. And what this spells for your strategy is that with Facebook, you can use top of funnel strategies such as awareness and reach and engagement to attract eyeballs onto your business. To be clear, it's not something that we recommend at the start. At the start, you should do always cost per lead. You should always generate leads so you can buy the data. But with Google, you can capitalize on people who have already heard about you and now they're looking to buy your services. So they would actually work really well together. How we recommend to do that is run ads on Facebook for an introductory to build up volume, run educational content, retarget to warm up premium service buyers, expect lower booking rates, 15 to 30%. Again, super important to know your numbers. because otherwise you'll get 10% conversions, 15% conversions. You'll be upset, and you're going to want to blow up in everything up in the air and just like restructure it. And it's not the case. It's the way this particular avenue works. That's how it plays out. And use it to build your remarketing audiences. When you bring Google into the equation, you can bid on high-intent keywords such as Botox near me, laser hair removal near me, promote your intro offers as well as your premium services, because here they're already searching, and here you can get away with full price packages, okay? In the advertising, to be clear. Expect higher booking rates, 30, 50% or even higher, but of course, that's going to come at a cost, which is higher cost per lead. So in this case with Google, you have to have landing pages that convert extremely well, because every click is expensive. It's a fortune, and you do not want to waste it. And so these two work together, like I already explained. Use Facebook to generate awareness, retarget with Facebook ads and Google ads. Right, where were we? Retarget Facebook leads who didn't book with Google Display. Use Google Search to capture people who are ready now. And your Google CPL should be higher, but your conversion rates should crush Facebook. And so the real question, what it all comes down to, is the numbers on the spreadsheet. What's the patient acquisition cost versus lifetime value? If a client comes and spends $3,000 over the lifetime, or $6,000, $8,000, you have to adjust these numbers to it. If basically the rule of thumb, you can spend a tenth of that in acquisition. And so quick math here, $50 CPL at 30% booking rate with 40% package conversion, 417 cost per package sale. $1,000 CPL on Google, which is $100 CPL, which is twice the number, 50% booking rate, 60% package conversion, 333 cost per package sale. You can see which one makes more sense. Again, non-binary, it's not one or the other, because Google is capped, limited in size, versus Facebook, which is theoretically virtually infinite. The second one is more profitable, but the first one is more scalable. Alrighty, and so if you're seeing Facebook ads optimized for low CPL and you're getting high volumes of leads, but they're not picking up the phone, then if the Medspa sales process cannot convert them, and you're 100% sure that it's a robust process, you're calling leads within seconds, you're following up with them as many as 7 times in the first 7 days, and you have a proven sales process, a proven sales methodology when they come in the clinic, a prescriptive based consultation process, then you may have a lead problem. You may have a low cost per lead issue. And if you tried high ticket on the wrong platform, on the wrong audience, on the wrong offer, which is on Facebook, then consider moving that to Google. And so stop celebrating low cost per lead, track cost per booked appointment and return on ad spend, and CAC to LTV, cost of acquisition to lifetime value. Use Facebook for volume intro offers, but with better pre-qualification in the creative and in the landing page as well, in the lead form. Test Google search for higher ticket direct bookings and premium consultations, and build retargeting funnels to move Facebook leads up the value ladder. So this is just a quick run through everything. I hope this is making sense. It's giving you a quick recipe and rules of thumb and litmus tests to check and sanity check your numbers moving forward. Whether you're running your own campaigns or you work with a marketing agency, just always keep a finger on that pulse and make sure that you're not throwing money down the drain. Not because of what the ad spend is costing you, but because of the opportunity cost and the wasted opportunities on generating packages, loyal customers, and scaling your Medspa to where you want it to be, adding anywhere between 20, 50, 100K in your monthly revenue. Okay, so if this is making sense and you find it useful, continue following. We have a lot of content on how to optimize the cost per lead, how to fix marketing, how to fix sales, how to make them work together well as well. Of course, if you want a second opinion on anything, medspapatients.com, we're here for your service. And if not, we'll see you into the next video. To your success.